right? And we are live. Welcome to the Zeus X Podcast. I'm your host, Zeus, and we have alpha villains in the building.
What up, what up, what up?
Let's get started.
Peace, my nigga. I appreciate
All right, guys, we are back. You guys, I want to keep it short and concise. Check out the merch at ZeusXPodcastStore.com. It should be scrolling across the screen as you see right there, guys. Check out the hit the subscribe button, like button on the way in. It doesn't cost you anything to do so, and it really is helpful with the algorithm. If you're looking for coaching, check out the link down below. Got a half an hour and an hour sessions as well on dating, finances, and just overall self-improvement. If you guys are looking for to send donations, send your donation to the Cash App down below at Zeus X Unplugged. Again, Zeus X Unplugged. So AB, what's going on, AB? How you doing, man?
I appreciate you.
But
I appreciate you. Yeah. I appreciate you for having me on, man. It's an honor to be here, man. You know what I mean? I go by the name of AV, aka Alpha Villains. I got a YouTube channel. Check me out at Alpha Villains. I'm on the show. Finish Your Breakfast with AV. Weekdays at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about the things women can teach you. So kind of touch on that topic a little bit based on the things we chopping it up today, man. But make sure y'all like the video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Zeus X Podcast. Helps the algo. You already know. Let's go.
All right. So let's get to the first question. AV, why does Alpha Villains promote self-improvement so heavily? Right? And how important is it for a man to be the best version of himself?
Yeah, man. So I came up with the concept Alpha Villains because a lot of times, a lot of guys, in this space, men in particular, we have been led astray, if you will. You know what I mean? For the most part, there's some guys that really kind of broke through that, but a lot of us have been raised by single mothers. And single mothers, unfortunately, unbeknownst to them, typically raise men to become the man that a woman settles for. I look like my father. I'm Haitian. My father was running around town, and I'm sure my mother treated me in a certain way because I reminded her of the nigga that left her. So anytime a man want to exercise his options, he puts in the work. He wants to go to the gym. A woman's going to be like, you going to the gym again? Or if you working too hard, you grinding, trying to make money for the bitch, then the woman's going to get upset with you. And every time a man is trying to self-improve himself for himself, we're villainized for it. Correct. So I'm teaching men to be unapologetically masculine. And what that means is do things for yourself with the notion and knowing that in the back of your mind, you're doing it for the people that you love and the people that are around you. But if you don't put yourself first, you're going to be in a situation while you're living for other people, and you're going to wind up being like these incels and these dudes that are on YouTube just consuming content and not living a real life. So that's where Alpha Villains came in.
Okay, yeah, I like the way you said that, unapologetically masculine.
Yeah.
And to me, that means, just remain stoic, to be the rock for people to lean on, right? And lead by example, setting standards and boundaries for people to, and enacting on those boundaries, right? And to uphold those boundaries. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are willing to bend, right? And you shouldn't be bending. Taking care of your responsibilities at all times and pursue your goals and your mission and put yourself first at all times. And this doesn't necessarily mean being selfish, right? But it's to the contrary, right? It's being selfless. And if you putting yourself first, those around you benefit from this act. You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And what's crazy? I like what you said about being selfless. You see, for men have a tendency to fall on the sword, right? We're expected to fall on our sword. If you got a family, you're doing your shit, you're supposed to be out there. You the first, you in the front line. You know what I mean? If there's a noise downstairs, babe, get up. You got to go out there with the shotty and see and make sure the perimeter is secure. It's expected of us, right? So men don't understand because it's expected of us. We don't put as much value into ourselves and realize how much worth we really have. Because at the end of the day, if you travel, the plane is starting to descend, you hit some turbulence. What do they always tell you? Put the mask on first before you put it on your kids. Why is that?
All the time. Facts.
Yeah, because if I'm not the best version of myself, Zeus, you're not the best version of yourself. What good are you to anybody?
Facts.
So at the end of the day, men need to understand, yeah, we're willing to fall on our sword, but at the same time, we have to make sure that we do put ourselves first, because in order for us to be selfless, we first have to be selfish. Okay. as a result of that. So if you don't put yourself first, people are going to demonize you and villainize you. And then when you wind up giving the broad what she tells you she wants, now she's turned off, and then you wind up being confused.
Facts, correct. I mean, and that's the problem, man. A lot of guys.
Yeah.
Say something?
No, go ahead.
Right. What's your advice for men in your personal dating strategy in this social media age that's going on today?
Man, listen. It's tough, man. You know, I'm 48 years old, my nigga. You know what I mean? So I'm an older dude. It was easier back then in the 90s and shit. All you needed was a little bit of game. You look decent. Bitches were dancing and shit like that. Now it's different. You know what I mean? Now it's like social media has really taken over and really made things very difficult. What I will say is that a lot of dudes are not approaching women. And, you know, we talk about this thing. There's this thing they call cold approaching and shit like that. A lot of women are more pleasantly surprised and typically will give you props for actually coming up and stepping to them and just talking to them. You know, because you're a real person.
Correct.
So my advice to dudes, if you don't have ill pictures, you're not necessarily a really good looking dude, and you don't have like shit to show off like bait, stay off the dating apps, my nigga, because girls are gonna have 1,500 dudes at their disposal till you're 10, and they're just swiping you down. A lot of you dudes are taking these bullshit pictures in your selfies in your bathroom, no background and shit like that. So that's not gonna work for you. So if you don't have your social status up, your Instagram's not popping, go back to the basics, man. Talk to a chick. You from New York, I'm from New York too. Step to a bitch. You know what I mean? Talk to her, but not on some like rah-rah corny shit. Talk to her. Say what's up. Be situational. You know what I mean? If there's something going on around you want to talk about, be situational, be funny, be charismatic. Because you can't be charismatic on text. Sometimes a lot of niggas do have a crazy text game and shit, but when you meet them, they're lames. You know what I mean? You be talking to these bros, I'm gonna do this to you. And when the bro gets to you and shit, you 2 minutes done. You can't even get it up. You got ED. You can't perform. So at the end of the day, even though it's a social media world now, X, it's very important for guys to remember that real will always beat virtual, bro, at the end of the day. So just be a real person, step to the broad, and don't be discouraged if she's not feeling you, because that's only going to make you sharper for the next one.
That's a fact. I mean, every man is subject to rejection, right? Yes. A girl may think you're attractive, like you, and still reject you. Guys don't understand that, right? I think guys can't grasp that. A woman may initiate a convo with you. You get the number, all for her to still curve you or flake on a date or you up. Women are fickle, right? They go off their emotions. They may not feel good that day or have something else going on with their ex or on their period. Women are extreme, erratic creatures.
Right. Or they had a better offer.
Oh, they got a better offer. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, a yacht party and shit. You know what I mean? They don't feel like going to dinner. Let's go to the yacht party. You know what I mean? So you're right, man. Women are fickle. So what I got to remember too, and I'm sure you can relate to this too, Zeus, like you learn from losing. You don't learn from winning. So yeah, don't be discouraged from getting rejected. What's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen, she could just say no, but at least you got credit and you realize. It's like getting into a fight, my nigga. Sometimes at first when you get into a fight, it's scary, but then after you get into a couple of them, you're like, yo, it's not that serious. So you really, you stand on your square. So the more losses you have, the closer you are to a win. And the more rejections you get, the closer you are going to get to a woman that's going to be receptive. Now, once you get over that, there's levels to this shit. Once you get over that hump, what you going to do with the broad then? What if she smiles and you say something funny to make her laugh? And then what, nigga? Exactly. What you going to do then? You know what I mean? So that is levels. So don't worry about getting rejected. Focus on getting to first base. Then you can focus on getting the second and third and, home.
You know, funny shit? It's girls I've seen and know who have posted on social media curving millionaires, blue check celebrities in their inbox just to further validate themselves and look more lit. 1% of men who women will curve just because. So you guys can't be out here internalizing rejection. You see what I'm saying? Like
they doing it for sport.
It's for sport. Right. And guess what? The more average looking you are, the more of an average earner you are, the more you need to get out there, hit the pavement and talk to women. Because if you don't, you're going to be an incel. Women don't normally approach men. And even when they do it, it ain't average dudes they're approaching. So unless you want to be sexless, and you're gonna need to grow a pair, honestly. And I think cold approach is and I'm glad you mentioned this. I think cold approach is a long forgotten form of approaching women nowadays because of the social media age, right? People don't have the balls anymore to approach women. A lot of men avoid rejection by solely approaching women via dating apps or social media, because if she curves you in the inbox, it doesn't sting as much. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a level of protective film from a woman's raw rejection, kind of, if that makes sense. Getting rejected in the inbox by a woman isn't the same as being rejected in person. Cold approach is a very important art when dealing with women. It's how you build confidence to talk to women. You see what I'm saying? And it's how you build your social skills. You don't build that same level of confidence and social skills in a woman's inbox.
Right. You absolutely right, man. That's, you know what I mean? So I'm from New York, and when I moved to Miami, you already know. I moved to Miami in the 90s, and I was wilding out in New York. So my mother was like, "Nah, you gotta go to Miami." So boom. So you know, from New York,
coming from you, man.
You already know. Yeah. So you already know New York niggas are very aggressive, and in the 90s, it was cool to be from New York because we had a different swag and shit. We was just stepping the bitches and shit like that, and it was that swag. So being here after that died down, and now Miami's totally different from it is in the 90s. Now the social media, not everyone has pretty much has gotten lazy. You go to a club, you go to eating on a date, you see people on their phones. You know what I mean? Everybody lazy, everybody on their phone and shit. So you could be any. See, here's the shit with social media, Zeus. You could be anybody. You could have a catfish picture. You could rent a car. You could take pictures with thotties. Look like you chilling. You know what I mean? So you could borrow a nigga's drip. So you look like you balling, my nigga. But at the end of the day, when you get the broad and you get there, you can only fake it for so long. So at the end of the day, broads are always going to try to see if they can curve you just cuz. And then now, when a bitch curves you too, here's another thing. When a bitch curves you, she's doing that to see how persistent you really are. Then it becomes a game because now it's like, I'm gonna curve this nigga. Why she gonna keep coming? So, yeah, I mean, so a lot of dudes, man, y'all need to slow down. Listen, I get it. Women are beautiful. They're essential and shit. They look good, especially in New York. New Yorkers love summertime.
New York is like Miami, man.
What? Yeah, in the Bronx, forget it. So at the end of the day, man, you guys really need to focus on just before you can even think about talking to bitches, talk to people in general, man. Because women are people too. And if you learn how to talk to people in general, when you do that approach, it's not coming off like you approaching. It's really coming off like you having a conversation. Before you know it, the bitch is giving you her number because she doesn't feel like she has to put her guard up because she think you're trying to talk to her. Another thing, when you're not trying to kick to the bitch right away, she gonna feel like, what's wrong with me? Women are very insecure, bro. So if you're not trying to like smash, you're not trying to like do shit right off rip. My nigga, you know what we used to do, Zeus? Watch this. Me and my niggas and shit, we sleep at the bro, we having a sleepover and shit. We don't even smash on the day the night of. We make the bitch wait till the morning. We don't even touch the bitch. Oh man. We don't even touch the bitch. The bitch smell good. Her hair dead. We don't even touch the bitch. We fall asleep early. You already know. So this is what I'm saying. Now women have all this access to this content. So they already know how to make y'all niggas dizzy with their ass and their makeup and all that shit. Now they listening to the content. So now y'all niggas really need to be 2-3 steps ahead. So how do you do that? How do you reclaim the power back from a woman? You take the attention away from the woman. Once you do that, then she like, what's wrong with me? What? You know what I mean? So that's why y'all niggas need to just slow down, get a consultation with Zeus, listen to some content, and just kind of like re-strategize, because at the end of the day, the wall is undefeated. If you play your cards right, you put your nose to the grindstone, you grind it out, they'll eventually come back, and then you get to decide what you're gonna do with them.
Let's go. Fire gems right there.
Let's go.
So you're old enough, AB, to remember cold approach before the social media age, right?
Yeah.
I remember a large bit of it myself. What would you say is the biggest contrast today versus back then?
Corny lines. You know what I mean? Because Zeus,
okay.
Yeah, you in the space now, right? You're diving into the content creator space, the red pill space.
I'm trying to be like you, baby.
Yeah. It's a grind, but it's hard not to hear some shit that you heard from somewhere else, right? So you think you guys act like before when the red pill started, it was kind of low key. It was underground. Now it's real mainstream. So you say some shit you heard on Fresh and Fit, you say some shit that Kevin Samuels said, that may trigger the bitch. Now the bitch is gonna be like, she gonna get triggered. And you tell the bitch that she average at best. She saw the video on World Star. Now you just shot yourself in the foot because now she gonna have her guard up. So the biggest contrast is we were able to say things back in the day that wasn't so widespreadly known. Now you have to be real clever in the things that you're doing. And I think the easiest way to do that, bro, is pretty much to kind of be by yourself. Now, if you a lame, you got some internal work to do. But if you're not a lame and you a real nigga, just be yourself, my nigga. And then step to her, because at the end of the day, women want to feel like they're in control. So if you kind of too, quote unquote, alpha, you got too much swag, that may put the woman on edge, because now she's gonna be like, damn, this nigga probably a player and shit. He probably got mad bitches. I don't want to go through that. But if you just come off like a regular dude, you let the woman do more talking than you do the talking. Now you can kind of assess where her mind's at, and then you could kind of decide how you gonna make the move forward with the date or the encounter.
I think back then it was easier to pull women, right? Back then it was even very possible to pull a girl, and if you looked a certain way and you'd be able to have sex with her that exact same day, right? With a job on a regular salary. Like dead serious, right?
Listen,
women, huh?
Yeah, facts. Facts.
Women back then didn't have these overly inflated delusional standards that they do today. They didn't require a $20,000 Birkin bag. You driving a $100,000 car or $600 dates to get to know you. They didn't require a regular man to live back then what would be considered a drug dealer's lifestyle. You dig what I'm saying? Because back then, drug dealers lived that lifestyle.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Also, women before, if they weren't of a certain average or below average look, if they were of a certain average or below average look, they knew they didn't qualify to a certain level of economically attractive man. Plus, women weren't getting surgery at the rate that they do today, right? So there was more average or below average women to go around, which is why back then, even music videos, it was more average women in those videos as opposed to now, right? Nowadays, because of the social media age, women making their own money, the average or below average looking women expect above average men in all facets while still expecting sexual fidelity.
Sure.
We have an unprecedented level of access to people of higher status now.
Sure.
But there was a time a guy could work a normal 9 to 5, $42K per year, drive a Honda Civic, and be a great catch. You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But no other days, a woman would find an average man to catch. They find an average men settling at best, and you see it all over Kevin Samuels' podcast. RP to him, the late great Kevin Samuels, right? Word. Women see it as, why would they settle with an average man when they have millionaire dudes, blue check marks, hitting them up on Instagram, or access to these men who make 6-7 figures a year that she wouldn't have had access to before? Most men are virtually invisible to most women, and guess what? They don't care. They're not about to lower their standards for you. Countless women have told me, and you hear this yourself, right, all over the internet. Women would rather die than settle nowadays.
It's crazy.
Yo, women, bro, it's crazy, bro. You told me that 2 days ago, like, for real.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you're absolutely right. You know, it's like, nigga, that was, we did what we was told. I mean, go to school, go to college, get a career, get a decent crib, have the top of the line Honda Accord and shit. You know what I mean? And now the LX and shit, I'm chilling. I was the man, you know what I mean? But then now, like you said, because the internet is so overly inflated, 5s, 4s, overweight women is being promoted, women with no accountability, women being able to sexualize themselves, average women at best are still doing better than those guys who got the Accords, who got good credit, who make $60,000 a year. They're eating, they doing things more than the guys that were told to do these things to be the good catch. So it's very difficult. And what I find is that, a lot of the older G's, the OGs in this space, they have a hard time not only accepting that. I think that they give the younger guys a hard time when they spit this shit. And they're kind of harsh on them. Now, let's not get it twisted. There's a lot of goofies out here, a lot of niggas talking that shit. But there's a lot of truth to what you younger guys are saying, because you guys are A, in the field, B, you were born into this, right? I have an advantage because I seen it where it was before.
Correct.
And I see where it was now. Now, for those of us who have one foot in the past and one foot in the present, some of us don't make it out of the past. We're stuck in our old ways. The older you get, the more stubborn you become, right? But there's other niggas that are kind of fluid like myself and say, yo, you know what? You got to be able to keep the core values that we learned when it was back in the days, which were, the fundamentals, and try to integrate it with what the things have changed in today's society. So for me, I don't shit on young kids talking this shit, because a lot of the things that you guys experience is true. But from my channel and my content, I really try to give the man both sides of the coin so they can try to become bottom line is this, Zeus. The only option men have today, whether you were born in the 70s or born today, be the best version of yourself. Because if you don't, you really gonna be invisible, and then you're gonna only get frustrated. I saw something on the news the other day, my nigga. Some dude pulled out a blicky, a gun on a broad for not saying thank you when he held the door open for her, bro.
Yeah, it happened in Harlem at the liquor store.
Niggas are on edge, my nigga.
Yo,
niggas is on edge right now. Niggas is wilding. I'm like, yo, was really good. Or about the other dude with the fake Amiri on in the bodega and shit. The EBT card wasn't working, and money went in there. Like, I'm like, yo, what's wrong with y'all niggas?
Bro, rejection is so crazy now. People are willing to go to prison for it.
That's what I'm saying. And then right. That's what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, is it really worth it? No, it's not, because post-nut clarity and all that shit. When you become the best version of yourself, and you have a stronger chance and possibility, bro, to secure your future. And what does that mean? That means that you're going to be able to have options. That's the goal, man. Create your options. See, women have options because they got tits and ass. Men have to create their options, and niggas don't want to put in the work to create their fucking options.
Ooh.
Niggas will see you in niggas will see you in an ill whip, assume that you moving weight, you doing all this shit, not knowing that you put in the grind, not knowing what you had to go through to get the shit that you have right now. So that's where men start. Men are too busy looking at a pocket watching other niggas, too busy worrying about what other women want, as opposed to knowing what really is important, and knowing that if you do that, eventually you'll be in the position to choose the life and the woman that you want to deal with.
Fire level game, man. I mean, damn. And that's a fact, man. A lot of men, they internalize this rejection, and they're becoming frustrated and more frustrated. It's just guys out here saying "F you, girl," "F you, hoe," because they can't get a number. Like, bro, it's not that deep. There's 1,000 girls right behind her, right? It's gotten to the point where guys are now pulling out guns.
Facts.
Pulling out guns because of rejection at one point.
It's crazy.
It's crazy now. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Men cannot take rejection. It's like, and rather than do the work, they're getting crazier and crazier.
Now, listen, it's crazy. Me and you are talking this shit, and we being genuine with it, but it's not as, it is frustrating. Don't get it twisted. Like, us being able to talk about it like this, for me in particular, it's because I've dealt with it. I'm like seeing it, and it's like I can either cry about it or have this red pill rage, or just decide to just give up, settle with a bitch, settle and be miserable and shit like that, or put in the work. It's like, I did a show the other day saying men are not happy. And one of my niggas, you know what I mean? He got his shit popping, and he kind of mentors me, and he puts me in a path to try to achieve some of the levels of success that he has, but he's not happy. So I say that to say, niggas, you can't, whatever's going to make you happy is something that you have to decide it's going to be. It can't be what I say, what Zeus says, somebody on a podcast says. It has to be for you. And if you're not happy and you relying on somebody else to make you happy, you're going to fail, because like Zeus said, women are fickle. Their horoscope said they got to treat you bad. They're going to treat you bad. It's a full moon. It's a retrograde. The bitch is switching up on you. She tired of the dick. She tired of this. She tired of that. Her work husband's flirting with her. So you got to put yourself first and always keep whoever's around you in a particular solid or category, my nigga. Because if you don't, and you let shit slide, bro, you're going to lose control. And then now you putting the control in somebody else who has no control of their own life. This is why bitches want to control niggas and shit, because it's easier to control you than control and settle their own affairs.
Man, that was man, you spit some fire game today, boy. Hey, what's the difference? Let me ask you a question, right? What's the difference in your opinion on approaching women online versus in person?
It's crazy. I'm old school. I don't really like the online shit, B. I mean, I tried it. I mean, I got a couple, and I don't really take good pictures. I
want to hear this one, because
yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I like the online to a degree, right? to me in person is better because it's more effective for her to know you.
Right.
But I like the online because of the autonomy of it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit automated for you to do it. It's easier to reach a bunch of women at one time.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
It's more efficient.
Correct.
Yeah, I hear you. Nah, it's crazy. I tried it, and I was relatively successful at it, and I'm pretty techie, right? So I'm a fast learner. But for me, like I said, I'm better in person. Like I can't necessarily, like when I do my shows and shit, I don't necessarily script them. Like I'll have a topic, but I'm better like a freestyler. So like when a nigga asks me what should I say to this bitch, I'm like, I can't really tell you what to say to the bitch because I gotta see where we at, what she's wearing.
Correct. That's how I feel, man.
I love her fucking lipstick. You know what I mean? Is her wig lopsided? Like I gotta see what's popping. So I'm situational. So that's why I prefer going face to face because I'm better in person. You know what I mean? I can show you a nice picture and shit, and you can interpret what the picture is or how I am, but you can't really feel my energy. I'm a real energy person, and I don't necessarily play that game, but I prefer killing my own dinner. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather hunt it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Skin it, cook it the way I
that.
like it, as opposed to getting some shit prepped for me. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and for me, I think you're right about that, right? Because for me, it's way better in person because she get to see you, and she's already met you now.
Feel you.
It's also easier, right? There's a level of safety now because she's seen you already. Whereas if only online, she's a little, sketchy about meeting you sometimes, right? You got to run into that era of I haven't met you yet. I don't know who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a little bit more mystery. Whereas but the online is just like you said, like I said before, it's more automated. You can reach a full of women at one time.
Sure.
Personally, I don't do what do you call it? Dating apps, really, right? I just started. I tried not too long ago that Facebook dating thing, and it's highly successful. It's like going to the DM, which it makes no sense. But I don't really do dating apps. What's your idea about dating apps? I think they're like I think they're wasting time for men. Right? I think men who do dating apps, you're fighting an uphill battle, kinda, because most of the women on there don't want you anyway, especially if you're a regular guy. And it's just like a lot of them is catfish. It's a waste of time for me a lot of times. I personally never had success with it really.
Right.
But I have with the FB dating, of course.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said, if you doing the dating apps and shit, like you said, I like what you said. You said it's automated. And we all know if you're dating, it's a numbers game, right?
Correct.
It's a numbers game. So to be most efficient and to blast as many people, the dating apps would be ideal. But I think if you're going to do the dating apps, I think you have to try to optimize all its goddamn features. You got to remember when a broad sees a dating app, she's looking at the picture, she's looking at your setting. But I think personally, dating apps are a waste of time. I think the best dating site is Instagram because now it's like your LinkedIn. I mean, like you got an Instagram, they don't even ask for your number. They'll ask for your LinkedIn. So if you got pop, you got a following, you got a social footprint, you got social proof. Now the woman will be intrigued. So now you step to her. She knows you're not a lame. You chilling, you looking good. You got confidence. You broke that barrier. So now she's looking at your IG. You got a social footprint and you got game. Now your chances are higher for at least to have an interaction with the broad and see what's up. Because at the end of the day, I want men to understand this too, bro. It's not about getting to know the bitch. It's about making sure that you want you want to make sure that the bitch is qualified to hang out with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas got it the other way around, bro. It's not like we're not trying to get to know you. I'm trying to get to know if I want to pursue this. I'm trying to see if I want to have coffee with you, if I want to bang you out. If I don't like your personality, you a lame, your teeth is fucked up, your tracks, you know what I mean? You're not on point. Why am I gonna waste my time? Because you got a fat ass and shit. Most of these baddies are lame in bed anyway. Because they ain't gotta do anything extra, my nigga. They starfish in bed and shit. They can't do shit, pussy stink, all that shit. So now niggas need to just understand. Listen, I get it. 48-year-old nigga and shot. I got a couple seasons left, but at the end of the day, man, it's all about, like my nigga Sir Ism said, it's beauty in the duty. Beauty in the duty, my nigga. If she's willing to cooperate, give you peace over pussy, that's a bitch that's beautiful to me, bro. Because those baddies are headaches anyway. You know what I mean, so
now that's a fact, man. They definitely headaches, man. I'll tell you that right now.
I mean, word.
They're more of a headache than what they're worth a lot of times, right? right?
All the time, yeah.
I mean, and it's just, I mean, that's actually a lot of them in general, but specifically the bad ones, right? Because they feel I am pretty, that's it. Accept me how I am. And the badder she is, the even worse it is, right? They think because of their looks, that's all they got to bring to the table. If you even ask one of them, they're gonna tell you literally, "I bring me to the table." She really means that shit.
Yo,
She's dead serious. In her mind, that's enough.
shout out to the Afi Kingdom podcast and shit. Y'all niggas did that stream with the chicks, with the girls. I think it was something pearls and shit. And you guys had a little bit of a dialogue. She was like, "Yo, what's the table? Duh, I'm the table. I'm the table." I know this ain't no shot to her, but what I'm saying is, most bros think that they're the table. And see, they the table, but they ain't bringing nothing else but the table, bitch. I can eat
what she's bringing, right?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, again, just because you pretty doesn't mean shit, because there's more of you than there are of me, right? And masculinity is such on a decline. You step to her, you're masculine, you're unapologetically masculine, you got your shit together or on your way to getting your shit together. That is making you stand out from the majority of these lame ass niggas, because niggas are applying what they find attractive in women to themselves.
Ooh,
wearing tight ass jeans and shit, doing all this silly shit because you want to try to make the woman feel safe. The woman's not supposed to only earn feeling safe around me. I ain't gonna protect you, bitch, if you ain't worth it.
Son.
You know what I mean? So these niggas.
Yo, man. Oh, man.
Listen, nigga. See, I don't talk like this on my morning show. Yeah, I don't talk like this on my morning because I'm not necessarily a game coach, but I know what it is.
That's game right there.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because these niggas be bugging, bro.
Avery, let me ask you, what's your deadline after how many dates do you feel if she ain't smashed, you get her to the curb?
Man, you know, I say 3.
Okay.
I say 3, right? So
you go into why?
Yeah, for sure. 3. Now, it's been a really long time. I said this on my show the other day too. It's been a long time where my first date was really extravagant. Really long time. You know what I mean? Yeah, really long time. But at the end of the day too, I am a man who likes to take care of myself. I appreciate fine dining, right? Like, I'm the type of nigga that'll go to a nice restaurant by myself. You know what I'm saying? And have a nice steak, some nice wine, some nice scenery. I don't need to go to a fancy restaurant and treat myself accompanying with a woman. See, a lot of dudes don't treat themselves good. And because the bitch been to that restaurant, she taking you for the first time, and now she's the experience to you. And okay, so now you're the experience, and now you got a memory attached to this bitch. Meanwhile, this bitch don't even like you. She ain't smashing you. She bringing me the leftovers. She bringing Zeus the fucking leftovers. And now y'all niggas are getting finessed. Men have to be the experience. How do you become the experience? You live outside of your comfort zone. Get out of your less trips to Miami, more passport stamps. Let's not get it fucked up. You know what I mean? Go, get out of your zip code. Understand it's a huge world out there. Treat yourself. You ain't got to get dressed up because you're going out on a date with a bitch. If you got drip up for you, not for her. Eat good because you want to eat good, because you earned it. You closed that deal. You did your thing. You completed all your goals. When you do that, now you get to teach the bitch something, because I always tell dudes, women don't want an equal. They want a teacher. And when you can teach a bitch something, she's always going to want to stick around, because now she's going to be constantly learning some shit from your ass.
That's a fact, man.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so 3 dates for me, I think is important, because she's got to earn it. And, for me, if I'm going to put any type of time or take out of my busy schedule, I am already gonna kind of vetted her to know that there's gonna be some sexual attraction there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna, like, if I'm outside of the bar and shit and we kicking it and we potentially smash shortly after, I've already assessed that she's into me and I'm kind of into her. But for me to meet a bitch, she comes in my DMs and I got to get to know her. What's your sign? All that shit. I don't really do that shit anymore. It's more like, okay, we meet, I see you outside, I kick it to you, and then we set up the next date.
Correct.
So 2 or 3 for me is my cutoff point, because now after 3 times,
you play with my time.
Yeah, now it's like it's a wrap. If you ain't kissed it's 2022, guys. You guys should be kissing the bitch, feeling her up at the very least, the first night.
Yeah, that's me the first night. That's first night. That ain't
no kiss on the cheek and none of that shit. Yeah, grab her, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So
Yeah, bro.
a lot of these niggas don't. And another thing, here's another thing, Zeus. A lot of these niggas, social media and the phone, there's intimacies and lost art. And I'm not talking about candles and rose petals. I'm talking about making out with a bitch.
That's a fact.
Niggas don't kiss bitches no more and shit like that. Niggas don't know how to caress a bitch. Niggas watching Pornhub. Niggas thinking they gotta do all these crazy moves. That's fine. But a lot of you dudes are trying to get her wet down there as opposed to getting her wet in her mind. It's how you move. It's how you know what I mean? It's how you know what I mean? So
that's that New York.
That's that New York shit. You already know. Yeah, I'm preaching to the choir right now. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys, and just the first thing you said, right? A lot of guys don't treat themselves. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys don't take themselves out, don't take themselves on trips and stuff like that. Their first experience out of the country is with a woman. Right. Their only experience out of the country is probably with a woman. Like I went on a trip myself, 2 months traveling Europe, right? By myself. It was the best trip I've ever had, right? Whereas I've been with women multiple times, but it's never been the same as by myself. Like I actually genuinely think it was the best trip I've ever had.
That's awesome.
You know, people are like, how can you go back? It's crazy. Nah, bro, it was the best trip ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like going out to eat sometimes by yourself, ordering a bottle by yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Bro, it's the best thing you could do. You know
just
what I'm saying?
Chill. And you know what?
Yourself.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy too? When you realize, just like you said, that was the best experience you've ever had traveling. Now you don't put as much emphasis or importance on a bitch accompanying you.
Oh yeah, not at all, bro.
Because bitch, if you out of pocket and shit, I could have more fun in Costa Rica without your silly ass.
That's a fact, bro.
And I could get 3 of you for $50, and we could wild out. So stay in line. Yeah, when you could see Zeus, when you tell a bitch, oh yeah, I was backpacking in Europe for 2 weeks, bitch is gonna be like, oh word, this nigga is wild. That's gonna attract her.
100%.
But if the bitch is showing you shit that if she been to more places than she been to more restaurants than you, now she got to level up on you because now she's lived more. And now you're going to try to meet her at her level and try to mimic an expectation or experience that she had from a nigga that doesn't care about her, a blue check nigga that smashed her out and never saw her again. Now the bitch thinks she deserves it all the time. That's how you niggas got to understand it. If you don't live first and have experiences for yourself first, you really have no business trying to compete with a bitch that's been flown out, been shitted on in Dubai, did all this crazy shit on the yachts.
Right.
Y'all niggas are running in plays.
Listen, the thing is, you guys have to go experience, like, having money for women is cool and all, right? But you got to experience your own life first.
Facts.
Women want a guy, they don't want an equal, right? They want a guy who's lived and done, like you said, that's done more than them. Why? So she's up to you.
Learn.
So teach her things. Women want a superior. They don't want an equal, right? They want a superior. I don't care what they tell you. They may not hear like the word, but they don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear it. It's like, don't talk about it. We just know it, right?
Correct. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the word superior, but that's what they want. A guy who makes more money than them, older than them, taller than them, stronger than them. All these things are superior qualities. A leader, superior quality. You cannot be a leader if you're an equal. It doesn't work that way. You can't make what she makes and call yourself a leader to her. She's not going to see you that way. You know what I'm saying? You got to find a woman with, and I'm not saying you got to date, you got to look for a woman who makes less than. All I'm saying is you have to be a leader to some degree. You got to have lived more than she has lived. You got to go enjoy life. Even if you got to go, to me, be honest with you, by yourself is the best way to do because now you can pick up more women. I actually prefer to go by myself, to be honest with you, by myself.
Word.
Honestly, I really prefer that because you can have a lot more fun. I'm telling you, by yourself.
Word. Even with the crew too, like when we would go out and shit, nigga, I'll meet you there, nigga. I haven't gone out with any of my niggas' cars in decades, nigga. I'm like, yo, I'll meet you there because when it's time for me to go out pick up a bitch, I'm out. When I want to leave or want to stay, I'm there. So a lot of you niggas too, man. You see, it's crew love, no doubt. But at the end of the day, this shit applies to your niggas too. This applies to your niggas too, because at the end of the day, you guys have to embrace solitude. Because you were born by yourself, you're gonna die by yourself. When shit gets real, there's only a handful of niggas that you could call and shit. And out of that handful of niggas and shit, if they get wifed up and shit like that, now it's down to half.
Correct.
So you already know. So at the end of the day, unless y'all niggas ain't doing dirt together and shit, that's the only time niggas really understand you. So at the end of the day, man, you gotta focus on creating a life that you don't want for nothing. You don't need nothing, but you have that core people, the ride or dies, your day ones and shit that could really hold you down if need be. But the only way you do that is create the lifestyle that you want so you can become the experience to the bitch.
Correct.
saying?
You gotta create your own frame that women want to walk into. You know what I'm saying? She gotta envision herself within your lifestyle.
Word.
It really is, man. AV, for the guys out there struggling, how do you escalate on a date, and what advice would you give? Give guys out there that lack escalation skills and confidence.
Man, see, this is what I'm saying, my nigga. It's hard because like I'm very situational.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's
how I
hard.
am. That's how I am.
Yeah, like it's hard. Like niggas be like, yo, so what do I say? I'm like, nigga, I don't know, nigga. Like for me, escalation, man, I think it's gotta be organic. You gotta like all right, boom, watch this. So if you go out with a chick, you go out with her, more than likely 9 out of 10 times you want to smash the broad, but you could want to smash the broad all you want, but if she's not into you, like she's not showing you any type of interest, she's not showing any body language, she's not flirting with you, she's not being inquisitive. Now, I'm not talking about the generic question these broads ask like on a job interview. What's your 5-year plan? No, I'm talking about genuine things about you, like she really is interested in you. Escalation will come easily, right? But if she's not interested in you, guys get frustrated. The clock is ticking, the shit is getting late. You're already getting on dessert. There's no chemistry. Now you want to try to touch the bitch, and the bitch is like, stop, AV, stop. Like, you know what I mean? Or hugging you and shit, like that fake hug and shit, because you didn't set it up properly. How does a bitch become interested in you? You have a story to tell. I'm not talking about capping. I'm talking about real life experience. Another thing, don't divulge so much information on the first date, because what happens is a lot of these broads, what do you do? I'm in construction. You don't look like you're in construction. I'm a union delegate. Like, nah, you know what I mean? Like at Goodfellas. Nah, it's not like that. Basically, in a nutshell, she has to earn everything that a woman gets from you. She has to earn your time, your date, your dick, everything. So escalation, right? So escalation should be dictated by you. But you have to see it, you have to see the signs in order for you to escalate it. You know what I'm saying? So if she's really into you, she's enjoying herself, she's having a good time, escalating will happen naturally. And at the end of the day, sometimes she will actually take the wheel and make the move on you. But it kind of depends, man.
That's a fact, man. That's a fact. I think I think escalation is, situational. Even talking to women, right? These guys, they'll ask for advice. And I ask, okay, what line should I use? There's no line, right? Like, right. I may see a girl on her phone, and my line may be, yo, who you texting? Like, it'd be something like that. And you see what I'm saying? It could be at random. Or she got bags in her hand. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we just can't, like, it'd be that random. Like, it is never.
You cooking for me? Yeah, like, yeah.
Who cooking tonight? You know what I'm saying? Who cooking for me?
Right.
It's never a one specific line fits all. Guys are looking for that easy way out, that one line that fits all. It doesn't work that way. That's not how the game works. And if you're thinking that way, you're already lost. You're already approaching it the wrong way. You dig what I'm saying?
Right. And
there's no one size fits all, because some girls are different. Some girls play a certain way. Some girls are this way. Some girls need to be soothed a little bit more. Some girls need to be talked to a different way. Some girls got to have sex in their mind first before they have sex with you physically.
Right.
Things, you see what I'm saying? So
and if it sounds like a line, if it sounds like a line, then it's a line. You can't, no, nigga, you can't do that, because she's gonna be like, oh, would you hear that on Fashion Fit? Like, you sound corny, you sound like a lame, nigga. See, this space, there's a lot of value in this space, but we have a bad connotation. Like, if you one of them red pill niggas, I'm like, nah, chill. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you got to try to be as authentic as possible. And I think a lot of the heavy lifting can be done if you're just masculine, bro. If you ain't got no strong father figures, you ain't got no uncles and shit like that. I get it. A lot of us didn't. But at the end of the day, man, you have to do whatever you see the majority doing, do the fucking opposite.
Correct.
I mean, because that's why they call it popular, because popular is typically a lot of mindless shit, a lot of things that are going to keep you as a follower. But if you're an outside thinker, you a man, you masculine and shit, you got frame and all that shit, yeah, it's going to be a bumpy road, but they will learn to appreciate that, and you'll be living on your own terms. You ain't got to do dumb shit like me being a content creator. I don't want to do dumb shit to get my channel popping, because that's just not me. So, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'd rather lead with truth. I'd rather talk to guys about what I know will work for them eventually, because all y'all gonna be my age, God willing. And for me, if I could teach a young guy how to avoid pitfalls and make mistakes and shit, by the time you're my age, you're gonna be lapping me. So don't follow the trends if you ain't had no masculine energy. Focus on guys that are gonna teach you how to think for yourself and do the things that feels good for you. Don't do shit for other people. Do shit for yourself. That's a step in the right direction.
Correct. Sorry, the charger came.
Are you good?
Yeah. AB, what's your advice for men looking to date tens and dimes?
Man, I mean, I've dated tens, I've dated nines, in the past, right? In the past. Now, for me, right now, that was great. It was great, but again, it was in the past, right? But you want to date a 9 and a 10, man. First thing I want you to do is ask yourself why, right? Number one, and then assess the situation and find out what it's going to cost you monetarily, time, spiritually, mentally to maintain this 10, right? Because a nigga can want a Lamborghini, but you don't even know how many miles per gallon that Lamborghini gets. Or niggas want yachts and shit, but you don't know how much it costs to port the fucking yacht.
Ooh, we talking spicy, baby.
You know what I mean? So, or niggas want a high rise, niggas want a condo, but niggas don't know that the HOA costs more than the fucking mortgage. This is what I'm talking about.
That's
so a lot of, you know what I mean? So a lot of you, I know you're a homeowner, so a lot of you niggas are eating with your eyes, but y'all niggas are not doing the research. So before you, listen, I want you guys to appreciate a beautiful woman. That's a part of the human experience. But at the end of the day, if she's not meeting the criteria that really is important to you, that's based around the standards that you created, not her, because a lot of women gonna say a real man does this, a real man does that. Meanwhile, the bitch don't know her father. She lives with a single mother. She telling you what a real man is. Bitch, how would you know? You didn't even know your father. So you have to create those standards. So before you decide to date a 9 or 10, ask it if she's worth it. If she's worth it, then you got to see what it's going to take for you to attract a 10. 9s and 10s, man, they have access to the top-notch guys. Are you a top-notch guy? Can you maintain that lifestyle? You know what I'm saying? You can fake it maybe once or twice when your income tax comes. Then what? You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is.
What you said was definitely golden, actually. I think 10s, they're fun, right?
Of course.
I deal with them,
I bet you do.
Now for me on a regular basis, right? But to me, they're more recreation than anything else. A lot of times. Because unless you're getting them from somewhere else, like internationally somewhere where it's different.
Colombia, some shit, yeah.
Getting them here in the West, right, is not in your best interest. First of all, financially. And even just, let's forget financially, even just time-wise, right? They require a lot more time. You got to watch
maintenance.
They a lot more maintenance, right? And it's like maintenance that's not conducive to what you're trying to, what you should be trying to build.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying? They cost more money, right? Because they expect more, right? Because women naturally
they're accustomed to more.
Exactly. So it's like, why would you want to deal with that? And then you gotta worry about the guys coming at her, right? Unless you got her off social media, and even then you still gotta worry about the outside, right? But you can limit it, but it's still like, why want that?
I ain't got time to be limiting your ass. You know what I mean? Like, yo,
I ain't got time. Like, we got time to be telling, like, listen, yo, do what you want to do. I ain't got time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's why I personally don't even, do the girlfriend thing, because it's like I ain't got time to be. I ain't got time for that. Like, I'd rather you just do what you want to do, right? You know what I'm saying? So, and I've conceded to the fact that if I was to ever even get married or be with the woman seriously, it wouldn't probably be a dime. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
The older you get, the less you want to deal with that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like, they come with a lot of headaches. And the younger they are, the more of a headache they probably are. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not in a lot of men's best interest, because guys want to know about, how to get 10, how to get done. Bro, you don't want that headache, man. I do it on a dip. You don't want that headache. And I do it just as a recreational. And it's still a headache to some degree. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah, because you put in the work. And another thing too, listen, 10s are definitely attainable. But a lot of you guys want the recreational 10 without putting in any work. It's like you guys want a day off and you still in the 90-day probationary period. You haven't even accrued PTO. You haven't even accrued time off, nigga. You asking for a vacation. 9s and 10s are vacation. They're fun. They're temporary, but you have to accrue that time. How do you do that? You got to put in the work. Zeus put in the work. He grinding, doing it. He building. So now to reward himself from all that grind, he fucks with a 10. He does his thing. But like he said, because of the maintenance that is required to maintain a 10, that that interrupts what you're trying to build on top of what you've already worked for.
Bro,
it doesn't make sense, my nigga.
They're natural. See, women in general are extractors, but they're even more. They're natural, like
they're bigger distractors.
They're bigger extractors. You know what I'm saying? They'll siphon every little energy you have and then leave you at the end of it. They have
energy vampires that move on to the next one with like nothing.
That's the right. Oh my god, right word. They're
energy vampires. They suck it.
I like that concept. Let me steal that. They're energy vampires, bro. That's what they are. Vampires, right? So they'll siphon everything they have out of you while they can and move on to the next guy. You know what I'm saying? So they're not. Again, they're fun, right? But like you talk about the car, right? Having a car, expensive car, comes with maintenance that you may not even realize.
The oil change, the servicing, all that shit.
You know I remember I used to say I want a Bugatti, right? I watched the video where a guy did the estimate of how much it's supposed to maintain a Bugatti. It costs $300,000 a year to maintain it.
Nah, my nigga. I mean, listen, I get it. If you can, you Rose, you Flow Rider, you Pitbull, cool.
Like,
I saw Flow Rider in the Bugatti. That shit looks awesome. But at the end of the day, like you said, man, you know, it's a lot of maintenance. And but I say this too, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, do the work, man. You're gonna see a lot of these baddies are overrated. A lot of them are dull. They don't have a personality. They don't know how to fuck. All they do is just extract resources from you because they don't have to. This is why you see a lot of talented simps. You see a lot of niggas that got bread, these rappers and shit, they look good. They look like they got their shit together and they don't know what the hell they're doing. Look at Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp got finessed by Amber Heard. This is Johnny Depp, bro. This is one of my top 10 favorite actors and shit. Blow, all this shit. This nigga got finessed doing some crazy shit over Amber Heard. Johnny Depp has had badder bitches than Amber Heard, but now he checked out. So at the end of the day, in order for you to check a bitch and in order for you to have it be in control, you cannot put so much importance on beauty. Beauty is fading. This is why you see old women. This is why you see them constantly reinventing themselves and doing all these filters because they know this is their currency. What is happening to the dollar right now because of inflation? What's happening to the housing market, the abundance? All these beautiful fake women and shit, if we stop feeding their currency, now that their value starts to drop. Pussy's cheaper than ever in America now. Soon enough, we're going to have Columbia prices out here. So this is what I'm talking about. If you guys continue to focus and remember these stats, you're going to start to see that these women will start to correct themselves once we start to stand together and realize that we are indeed the prize if we put in the work. But you got to put in the work before you even start talking about all this other shit that Zeus is talking about.
That's why women feel like they are the prize, right? Because if you see, a lot of men don't put in the work, right? So they end up by default being the prize. A lot of men do it are losers or ain't got shit going on for their friends. So women feel like they're the prize naturally, right? The problem is when they're around a certain level of guy, they aren't the prize anymore. And they don't see that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're so used to dealing with guys who they're the prize over. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of women, they lack certain behaviors or respect because they're used to dealing with guys who they don't need that for, honestly. So when they meet a guy who they need it for, it's hard for them to even switch it up because they're so used to the same type of man where they able to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Man, AV, some guys would say game is all you need, right? What say you about that? Like, what do you say about that?
Yeah, this is what I kind of touched on this earlier about some of the older OGs are saying that game is all you need. And there's, the younger generation, you guys are saying that, not necessarily you need all these other things. I think it's a combination of both, but me, I'm going to be a little bit biased because I am old school. I think game is the most important component of everything in becoming better, right? Your finances, your credit, your physical, your mental, all those things have to be on point. I always say this, men have to be on all cylinders, but I think game is the most important thing. When I say game, I mean your mindset, your understanding of self, knowing yourself, right? And the reason I say that is because all these things, the yacht parties, the Lamborghinis, the high rises, the trips, you can lose all that shit. But a nigga with game, a nigga who understands himself can re-up and get that shit back. I know a lot of niggas that took 2 steps backwards to take 3 forward. A lot of niggas lost shit, bankruptcy, Trump filed for bankruptcy. A lot of niggas lost this shit. They got jammed up. They get robbed and shit like that, but they back up. How do they do that? Because of their fortitude, their strength, and their belief in themselves. Consider, man, I've been doing this for a year, man. I've made a lot of headway, and I know a lot of people on this channel with my brand. I've been doing this shit for free for a year, and I'm still doing it pretty much for free, but I believed in myself through trials and tribulations. I put my social life on pause because I see that there's a vision and a need for niggas to be and an outlet for niggas to know that they got to believe in themselves and be unapologetic while they're doing it, so you can get the best results out of life and optimize your life. So game, I think when we talk about game, it's not about women. Game is really truly knowing yourself, understanding your limits, not letting your limits that you put on yourself or society has put on you, use those as a crutch. If you want to break barriers, you got to do. If you want more, you got to do more. You can't let what your mom told you, your generational curses, what society told you, how your kids are looking at you, determine the life that you want to have. You have one life, and you have the opportunity, especially nowadays with all the resources and YouTube and all this shit. You guys can literally look up anything on YouTube and discover how to do something and change your life in a year, bro. So game for me, I think, is the most important thing, but everything else is a close second.
Mm-hmm. I'll say this, right? Some women may prioritize how you look and carry yourself, right?
Of course.
Some prioritize your money and your status. Some prioritize your charm, your charisma, your game. If you have all three, though, you qualify to most women. Right. If you have all three, it lowers your chance of not only rejection, but time wasters.
Right.
If you have all three, you can use whatever's in your arsenal at your disposal for that particular girl, or all three, depending on where she's at the particular time of her life.
Right.
And if you're more important, if you have even more importantly, if you have all three, you can dictate the terms of the relationship, or if any at all. You don't have to tolerate what you don't want to. Why? Because you have the catch, like you said earlier.
Right.
But let's say you had just personality, charisma, right? Or you just look good. Well, some girls don't give a fuck about your personality, your charisma, right? Or how good you look. If you don't have money, you won't even get to play the game with most of these women.
Right. Especially
in like a place like New York City, or where you're at,
Miami. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Hypergamy is crazy out here in these places, right? So listen, this is universal, right? I don't care where you're from. It don't have to be a big city like New York or Miami. One thing's for sure and two's for damn certain. Bad bitches, really attractive women seek men with money.
Right.
Don't let any other content creator lie to you, or don't let no chick tell you it's personality, vibe, or any of that other nonsense, right? Because personality or vibe doesn't matter if a guy doesn't meet a certain measure of prerequisites. That's a fact, not an opinion. The better the chick, the more she's about money. 9s and 10s are about money. If you want to date those top bitches in regards to looks, guess what? You have to become that top dude in regards to money and everything else. Or at least pretend like it, right? If you're going to do that, which is a lot of guys nowadays. That's what they do, they cap.
Sure.
But seriously, and that's crazy, but you need money to qualify to those women. Unless you're trying to bang 6s and maybe 7s, maybe 8s. But even they, nowadays, even the 7s, the 6s, and 8s, even they want to deal with the guy who makes 6 figures plus. If you want 10s, you're gonna have to have money to play the game, or have a strong front where you're capping. Got to be serious.
Absolutely.
Are there unemployed or broke guys pulling bad bitches still? For sure. Shit, I've done it broke, but it's not a consistent pull. You can't retain her. She's out as soon as she finds a guy more competent, a better man. Unfortunately, a component of being an attractive man and getting hot chicks is having money, bro. Now, it don't mean you gotta spend money on them or a trick. You just have to create a lifestyle that she can envision herself a part of. And think about you guys. If you're banging, think about it. If you're banging 10s, would you bang a 3? Right? It doesn't make sense. So if she can bang millionaires, why would she settle for a nigga working at Walgreens? Now, this doesn't mean she can retain him or get commitment out of him, but the fact that she can attract him is enough for her to say to bet all her chips on that one dude and ignore your ass. Majority of a woman value, the majority of a woman's value is intertwined in her looks, like you said earlier. They know this even if they don't say it out loud. An attractive woman is similar to a rich man. That's why it typically goes together. Women are valued on their looks. Men are valued on what they can provide. Only difference between an attractive woman and a rich man is she's more replaceable in common. Now, I will say this though, game is more important, right? And because game is more, it's you. You can't lose game. You can lose money, you can lose looks, you can lose all that shit. But game keeps you. Game is a finesse, and you can finesse your way into anything if you have game. I don't care. Well, you can finesse your way into a club, a party, a certain social situation, being around who you need to be around. You can finesse your way to some box, anything. So I think game is probably the most important thing you can have first, and you develop game through adversity, right? By being broke. That's when you should be developing your game the most. While on your way up to the top and getting yourself together, learn game, learn how to be social, learn how to talk to people, because that's where gets its strongest. Because that's why a lot of these guys you see who are like Johnny Depp, somebody who may have been rich forever, right? They don't have game because they never needed game.
Right.
They live with their money. They live with what they have.
Precisely.
So they can't deal with women properly how somebody like me and you can. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
We didn't have it before, so we had
to work. We had to work for it. That's the shit. Yeah, that's the shit. And you're absolutely right, man. You know, in order to play the game, you know, you have to earn your spot. You know what I mean? You gotta try out. You gotta audition. That's why LeBron goes to camp. He trains all year round and shit. See, that's what I'm saying. A lot of you niggas you guys have it backwards. You guys think that you see somebody on camera and shit and make it look easy. This shit is not easy. Life's not easy. You're supposed to get stronger. And at the end of the day, if you want to deal with a 9 out of 10, I always ask you guys to ask yourself why you want to, and do you qualify? It doesn't mean that you have to be mad at the bitch. It doesn't mean that you have to hate women because she can't see past the fact that you're not making 6 figures when she's accustomed to 6 figures. It doesn't make her a bitch. It just makes her a woman who knows what she wants. You can either avoid women who know what they want, who require 6 figures, or get your weight up. And another thing, money. You don't have to spend money on a bitch, but if you're investing in yourself, you're investing in your clothes, you dress nice, you have nice things, that in itself will show a woman that you care about yourself. Now, you could have money, I could have money and look good, but doesn't mean that my money's going to be on you. I'm going to spend it on you. I got a nice watch, I got a nice car, all that shit. So investing in yourself is extremely important. That's how you set the tone to get noticed. And you remember, when you do things, you don't do it for a woman, you always do it for yourself.
We about to I got a few more things about to wrap up right now. AB, what's something these YouTubers coaches preach that they're wrong about and that men should disregard, and something that they're correct about, if you don't mind me asking?
Damn, I don't know, man. Yeah, you know, I know a lot of these dudes behind the scenes. You know, I'm not a game coach, my nigga, you know what I mean? But some things that I don't agree with, like I said, I think that the OGs, I think they're a little too harsh on the younger guys coming out. I don't necessarily agree with their tactics. I don't think that you have to insult somebody to get your point across. You know what I mean? I think it's a little ridiculous that older men are attacking other content creators with less channels. I think, you know, doxing niggas, exposing niggas, trying to ask niggas for receipts. I just think it's a little ridiculous because I don't think it's counterproductive. It's like you got channels now that are making a name for themselves for the drama as opposed to helping people. And then you have fools looking at the drama thinking that they just want to be entertained. Like, mental health is a real thing. And I think a lot of people say, oh, I'll go to a therapist. I go to a therapist. I know women that have been a therapist for 10 years and they're still fucking crazy because all they want to do is be heard. They don't want to be helped. I went to therapy 6 sessions and my therapist dismissed me. She's like, yo, you don't even need this, because I wanted to be helped. I wanted to help myself. So at the end of the day, I think what I disagree in the space that there's too much division, a lot of fucking ego, a lot of it's crazy, bro. I mean, you just diving in, but it's crazy. A lot of fucking ego and shit. A lot of these niggas are corny. A lot of these niggas I just think they're not necessarily changing with the times. And I think that, and on the flip side, the younger content creators not trying to listen to the OGs too. That's another fucking problem. Because we've been around longer. Yeah, the dating game has changed, but you niggas changed with it because of women. We, on the other hand, understand that men shouldn't change. We should adapt, but we're not supposed to change. So I think on one hand, the OGs are being stubborn and they don't want to listen to the younger guys, but at the same time, the entitled younger guys who think they fucking know it all don't want to listen to wisdom. And like I said the other day on my show, when I was growing up, we looked to our elders for wisdom. Now our elders are looking to the young niggas for wisdom, and it's not necessarily wise to do that because you've been on this planet longer. So the shit that you seeing on the internet is cool. You could teach us about that, but are you teaching us about life? Because everything on the internet is not really life. It's all fake, make believe and shit. Real shit is what the elders went through. So I think that's the biggest problem in the space for me.
100%. This internet shit is like illusion, smoke and mirrors, man. It's not reality.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
That's what it's just too many people. A lot of men and women go wrong with that. It's just smoke and mirrors, man. Nothing is what it seems.
Bro,
it looks like.
Trust me. Yeah, I know. Again, I'm in the cut, nigga. I know I'm behind the curtain. Nigga. I'm like, damn, nigga, like this shit is. So for me, when I came in, I was like, you know what I mean? That's why right now, bro, I'm really just trying to do my own thing. I've been blessed to have a lot of opportunities, but I've been grinding, as you can see, nigga. I'm grinding every day, every day. Yeah, and I put my life on pause right now because I really believe in it, and a lot of niggas that I look up to, co-sign me. They say, "Yo, you could really make an impact, and you could really make a career out of this." So I'm like, "All right, fuck it, let me do it." So, not everything is as it seems, and I even encourage guys to take what I say with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Like, question me. What I say may not work for you, but I always try to encourage free thinking channel. I try to encourage men to think. So if you ask me a question, first thing I'm gonna do is say, "Well, what do you think?" Well, a real nigga that really wants you to think is gonna turn it back on you to answer it first. Then I can give you my assessment because I don't want to steer the conversation. What should I say to her, AV? Well, what did you say to her? What do you think you should have said to her? Like, you got to extract shit because a lot of people don't think they know what they're doing, but really the answers are really inside of you. You just are looking at too much content and you're confused to actually act on your own instinct.
I dig that. Let me ask you, should the guys who can't get right, like fake it till they make it, or why not?
I think it depends on what you're faking and what you're trying to make. Like, if you're trying to fake an Instagram page for bitches, I think that's dumb. Ooh. But if you can't afford a suit and you don't have a lot of clothes and you're trying to get a promotion and you faking it because you borrowing somebody else's clothes and shit to try to look the part, that's different because now you're getting a return on your faking. What's the return of faking it on Instagram? Pussy, bro. Come on, my nigga.
Yeah, fact.
You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, should you fake it till you make it? That was here before social media was out. Absolutely. You have to try to be in situations where you can be discovered, right? So you have to, you know, even if you're living in your car and shit, you got to just be present. You know, a lot of opportunities are typically lost because you're not prepared or you weren't there. But I think when men try to fake a persona, trying to be alpha, trying to be red pill and shit, but behind the scenes and shit, they're fucking simp. They're not doing real shit. We eventually will see it.
That's how you get exposed.
That's how they get exposed, and that's why another thing too on my channel.
Some content creator got exposed for a few times for
that. Listen, again, for me, that's another. See, that's the shit. Like, I'm not into exposing niggas and shit. Like, if I follow a nigga and I like it, and I realize you wasn't all that or you was faking it, then I'll just and if it tugged on my emotions or my heartstrings and shit, I'm just gonna stop fucking with you. But like, exposing a nigga doesn't really help anybody. I think for me, I always, like I said, I try not to talk about personal things. If I ever share something personal with my audience, it's because it's relevant and it's a teachable moment. But at the end of the day, I'm not discounting marriage. I'm not discounting children. I'm not discouraging any man to doing what they want to do. My job is to just give them the pros and cons from either experience or things that I think may occur so you can make the best decision for yourself, because you can't challenge me wanting to be masculine. So at the end of the day, that's why I came in the game like that, because I'm real in the sense where, like, nigga, whatever I say, you say you want to do, I'm saying, but did you think about this? Did you think about that? You can't challenge that. So faking it till you make it is important. It's a part of life, right? Like, I could have this nice studio, but I could be broke eating cereal, right? But when you see the studio, it's like, oh, this nigga shit is popping. So am I faking it till I make it? One thing doesn't have anything to do with the other. But when you're lying to people, steering people to doing something that you are doing, or telling people not to do something that you're living, then it becomes a fucking problem.
Correct, 100%. You know
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, women are socially superior to men, right? They're the weakest sex, so they have to be. So they're hardwired to identify inconsistencies within your congruency. They seek it. Women look for reasons to disqualify a man to avoid giving box to the wrong guy. So if you report yourself to be a certain level of guy initially, confident, competent man, have your shit together, etc., but instead, over time, you're revealed to be unaccomplished, don't have your shit together, don't have nothing going for yourself, lacking things that you portray to have, well, she's gonna see that blue cat rear its ugly head. And when she sees you're a fraud, she will begin to lose attraction for you at an accelerated rate. Nothing angers a girl or turns her off more than a man who tricked her out of some coochie, right? Now, here's the irony. Successful men who are alphas are frauds too, to some degree, right? Because think about it. You gotta, you're pretending like you're showing her a lifestyle to pretend like you're gonna, welcome her into it when you just want some pussy anyway. You see what I'm saying? So it's like a double-edged sword to a degree, because no matter what we're for, because you may show, okay, I'm on yachts, I'm buying this, I'm buying that, but I ain't really buying you nothing. If you caught me right now for some money, I would curve you. You dig what I'm saying?
It's bait. Yeah.
It's bait. So we're kind of in a way fraud to a degree, but guys who afford to get, to get with women or afford to get what they want, it's not conducive a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, the women, that angers him more than anything else, right? A guy who pretends to be somebody that he's not. And a lot of women say that for a reason.
Yeah. And I think that the hack to that, and just to kind of avoid being a fraud, is just really realizing if you leasing a Lambo, you on a yacht, you leasing something, it's for you. It's not for the bitch. Now, in the back of your mind, it's going to attract bitches, but I like a Lambo. I like a yacht. I go out to eat. I usually eat at this restaurant. They know me here. So now I'm not necessarily tricking you out of coochie. You're just accompanying me in my lifestyle. See what I'm saying? So when a nigga lives out of his comfort zone to create a lifestyle to try to accommodate a woman that he doesn't normally live himself, it's going to fall on deaf ears because A, you can't afford it. You're not a customer. You don't know which fork to fucking eat. You don't know that you can't cook steak well done. Like all that shit. Bitches are like, yo, this nigga's a fraud, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Are you monogamous with the women you deal with? What are the advantages and disadvantages of of being monogamous today with men today? With women today?
I think if you have a purpose and you're not where you're supposed to be, monogamy could be a great thing, because now you have less headaches. You have less headaches. You know what I'm saying? You have less headaches and less distractions. So the monogamy can be definitely a good play if you're not where you're supposed to be. You're in the middle of something. You're in the middle of an empire you're building, right? So you're in the middle of construction. I also think monogamy can be a good thing too if you have realistic expectations about it, right? So like if you have a relationship, you've been in it for a really long time, you're gonna know that there's gonna be some pitfalls. Sex is gonna diminish, you're gonna get on each other's nerves, etc. But to combat that, if you are in a long-term relationship, you have to have other things outside of just her to occupy your time. So if she's getting on your fucking nerves, you can go on your motorcycle, you can go fishing, you can focus on your business, you can do other things. You cannot revolve your life around somebody who is a human as well, who may get tired of your silly ass, who may get on your nerves. You know what I'm saying? So monogamy is okay if you have other things that are going to require some time to build for a better future. Now, if you on all cylinders, you're on autopilot, and you're honest with the women, then monogamy is not necessarily advisable, because now you have options, but you've worked hard to create those options. And now the woman will be more than likely to share you because there's less of you than there are of her. Mm-hmm. So that's what it is.
Gotcha. That's what you're saying. How do you feel about women with children? Do you think men should date them seriously? Or is it just, should it be just for sex? And who have kids by other men, maybe 1, 2, or 3, are they delusional for expecting a 6 or 7-figure alpha man to come and save them from their poor choices?
Well, it depends. It depends. Like I said, I don't discourage niggas for doing that, but it depends. But you got to understand, like, if you have dating a woman with children, you have to set the standard up front early, what your role is going to be in that child's life. Can you discipline the child? Can you guide the child? Are the kids gonna be listening to you? Or are they just looking at you like some nigga that's like taking them to Disney and shit like that? You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have to talk about what her values are. Like, is she conservative and shit? Like, is he part of the rainbow community? Is the girl dressing promiscuously and that's against your values? So before you decide to get with a broad and take her really seriously, you have to understand if she's willing to give you the keys, right, and let you be the enforcer or the disciplinary and the leader of the household, then it's something that you can actually consider. Then you got to consider about the drama with the baby daddy. How does that interfere with him? Is the mom and the ex-dad have a good relationship? How is that going to sit with you? So there's a lot of factors involved, but if there's something that you vetted and she's a good woman and you can make it work, then make it work. But just understand those checks and those things have to be met and written down in stone before you can even entertain that. But other than that, if it's not like that, it's just recreational fun, do it, man. Because these single moms, they need loving too and shit. They just give their kid the iPad to their kid. Lunchables and shit. You could bang them out in the next room and shit like that. So it is what it is.
should a woman qualify to you, or should you as a man qualify to her?
At this day and age, she's got to qualify for me because I have a lot of outside of this, this YouTube shit, man. I have a lot of shit popping for me. You know what I mean? I have my college degree and shit. I'm accomplished. You know what I mean? I make a good salary. You know what I mean? I got mad hustles. I'm smart. I could teach a bit some shit I've lived my life. So I understand my value and I continue to put more equity into myself. So she has to, right. And she has to qualify to me. And because I put in the work now, right now I'm doing this YouTube shit and I'm trying to take it to the next level. Eventually, all my hard work will speak for me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to post pictures of my car, my watch and shit in my stories. Because when you see me in the street, you're going to be like, oh shit, look at this. My accomplishments and my accolade do the speaking for me. It's like you see these rappers and shit. They got niggas recruiting bitches for these niggas. So like you got niggas recruiting bitches for Chris Brown, Drake, and shit. Yo,
I know.
And they say, I like this one. Yeah, I know you know the deal. So I like this one. I like this one. It's like I'm gonna need an assistant for bitches to qualify to me. So if you DM me and shit, somebody's gonna review my shit and they're gonna know what I like. So do the work, make your accomplishments speak for yourself. Because a lot of niggas is doing a lot of talking. A lot of fast talking niggas and shit doing a lot of talking, trying to distract you and shit. But meanwhile, you like this nigga capping, nigga. Niggas know. I mean, we knows, right? But if you talk a lot, first of all, nigga, niggas that talk too much, nigga, make me nervous. I'm like, yo, what's wrong with this nigga? B, like, yo, my nigga was good. Like, you know. So at the end of the day, make your accomplishments speak for you. Then now you interesting. Oh, you got your own business. You paying for dinner. Shit. They see the business card. Boom. Oh, you got your own business. Oh, yeah. Because remember, discovery is better than disclosure, right? You disclosing shit, but if she discovers it, now you more of an experience. Now she's like, oh, this nigga is like really doing some shit. I better act right. I better call him or schedule the next date. If she sees that you treat yourself good, she's gonna want to sponsor a date. This is how you live. This is how you lead by yourself. You lead as a man. You're not leading with your wallet. You're leading with your accomplishments and your legacy that you're creating.
I think that's very important that guys should reframe it, right? How does she add value to you? Like you said earlier, you have to enjoy her company, not the other way around. Once you have an abundance mindset and have options and have done the work, she has to prove herself to you, and she will feel that. Like women will feel that. Now, if you lack options and can't pull women easily or the kind of women you want, it's harder for you to develop this abundance mindset that women naturally have. This is why men should prioritize doing the work, not women. Focus on the mission, you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, focus on the mission. Because when you do the work, women aren't just a byproduct of that. You become the selector, not the selected. Right. You know what I'm saying? I want guys to really ingrain that. AB, let me ask you, would you date a woman whom is celibate at, 40 or older? Because that's typically who's tried that stunt, or because she a lot of women 40 older like to try that stunt to in order to get some type of compliance.
Get reborn. Yeah, go ahead. So 40 and celibate, or what's my other option?
So like, let's say women's 40 and celibate, right? Let's say she's 40, right? Because only really older women out here try that game. Like, I'm celibate now for the last 2-3 years, right? Would you date her or give her a serious commitment? Or would you even bother with the woman?
Nah.
I'm celibate at 40 years old.
First of all, that's cap. I'm not believing none of that shit. That's like these bros say, oh, I haven't been in a relationship for 2 years and shit. So that means you fucking around. You know what I mean? Come on, let's it's 2022. But again, for me, this is the controversy. Does a body count matter? Does the past matter? To a degree, it does. But at first, it's not gonna matter because I don't even know if I like you. I don't even know if I'm gonna want to continue this shit. So a lot of niggas get turned off because the bitch got an OnlyFans. But you don't even know if you're gonna like her. If you don't like her attitude, you may not even want to continue the date. So if she's celibate, first of all, I'm not gonna believe her because that's like asking how many niggas you've been with. They're not gonna tell you the truth.
No.
That's number one. Number two, her sexual past won't determine my level of commitment. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's young nigga shit, because at the end of the day, I know I've been wild and shit. And you never gonna know. So for me, what will determine commitment is how you move, how compliant you are. If you see my vision, are you willing to look at the world through my eyes? And a commitment has to come no earlier than a year. You gotta deal with the ball for at least 4 seasons, my nigga. Like birthday, holiday, see how she moves, see how she switches up, shit like that, before we can even consider having a commitment. And then she's got to see, most of these bros don't care about commitment. A lot of these niggas are holding that shit, my last name, my commitment. Bitches don't care about commitment, bro, unless you that nigga. So, you know, I don't believe these bros. I don't believe what anybody tells me, but if a bro tells me she's celibate, that's not a selling point for me. Because you know what I mean? Because if you're 40 years old and we talking and shit, I'm assuming that you know what I mean, you're sexually active. Because why are we on this date? Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? So like, I'm gonna get hot if a bitch tell me, "Oh yeah, I haven't answered." I'm like, "Well, what are we doing? Check, please." You know what I mean? It's like, word. I'll be back and just dip out the back door and shit.
This date is over. Last three. How do you feel about marriage? Right? Would you marry a woman knowing the statistics, looking at what's going on today with marriage and how it's disregarded?
It's funny. My nigga King Dre said some crazy shit. He was like, "Yo, I ain't scared of the divorce court and shit like that because you know what I mean, he had some runnings with the law." He was like, "I see my name against my name, King Dre versus the state of Florida type shit." You know, in this day and age, man, like anything else, I will never discourage a man from getting married. But again, you have to understand what the benefits are. Are there any benefits for you in marrying this woman, right? You can have a child without marrying her. You can live with her without marrying her. You can create a life without marrying her. So if you can sell me on the benefit of actually walking down the aisle, signing a piece of paper, and you can show me that it's going to benefit me outside of the three things that I just told you we can do without doing that, then I may consider it, right? But if you want to do it for religious reasons and shit, your mom has a special request or, do it. But don't ever do it for pressure from a woman. Don't ever do it for pressure over a woman. And a lot of times these guys are scared of getting divorced and married because they think the woman's going to get half. But a lot of these niggas don't have money. A lot of these niggas don't have shit. They ain't got no life insurance. They ain't got no pension. A lot of these niggas don't even have health insurance. So it's tough. Don't get it twisted. It's tough. But like I just said, man, we can do everything that I just said without walking down the aisle and involving the government into our relationship. But if you want to do it, just know that there are some consequences that may occur. But I always try to tell guys to just walk in with your eyes open and make sure that you keep that relationship. Be that same nigga that she met and fell in love with. Don't switch up. Don't get lazy. There's gonna be some downtime, but when you find yourself switching up, that's when you start to lose your hold and control over the relationship. And this is when a lot of times, divorce happens or they break up.
AV, what brought you to this side of YouTube, the manosphere, so to speak?
It's yeah, the manosphere, man. I don't know. I don't know what brought me here. It wasn't over a bitch. Yeah, real shit. Yeah, real shit. Not like, I mean, I said it on my show. I've done simp-ish things, but I was never really a simp. But I never really had problem with bitches. But what I will say is I don't know what led me here. I started listening to, I remember the first person I actually heard talking this shit was Steve the D. Williams. And then he had Donovan Sharp calling on his show. And then I'm like, yo, who the fuck is it? And they were just spitting shit. And I'm like, wow. And then that opened up the rabbit hole. And that's when I was introduced to the red pill. And then like everybody else, I was consuming the content. And I saw a lot of value in this space. I saw a lot of guys. I didn't realize how many guys were actually suffering and were lost as far as their masculinity, as far as women. And I figured, you know what, I would like to enter the space. Now, before I even consider doing a podcast, I have merchandise. You guys can check it out at alphavillains.com. And I started doing red pill inspired t-shirts. No sympathy. I'm the space she needed. Ask your mom why I left. All that shit. So I started making these t-shirts. And then what I did was I started reaching out to content creators. I started DMing them, but I didn't on my Instagram. I didn't have my face on it. I didn't have nothing. I was just blank. avatar because I knew that niggas would see me and they might curve me. So I was anonymous. So I started DMing niggas and shit, sending them my t-shirts, and niggas started rocking my shit. So I created a buzz that way. And then one day my nigga Afi Kingdom was talking to another. Shout out to Afi, you already know. Afi was talking to another content creator about me. They didn't know what I looked like. They didn't know what I sounded like. And they were like, yo, there's a mystery about this nigga. This nigga's about to blow up. He hitting everybody up. And he was like, yeah, Afi was like, I think this nigga's Mexican. And when I heard that, I said, nah, fuck that. So then I was like, you know what? I'm coming out. So then boom, I started doing like, you know, my light skin poses on Instagram and shit. And I chopped it up with Afi. I was like, yo, you want to come on a panel? I was like, I bet. So when I got on the panel, I was on a panel with Fresh and Fit. This is before Fresh and Fit was Fresh and Fit. It was me, Myron, whatever, all them niggas. Yeah, I got the clip. And I was on the shit and I was spitting again. It was like, yo, this nigga's ill. And Fresh was like, yo, you should start something. I was like, yeah. And then I met Coach EO. Me and Coach EO, he was like, yo, I want to do a show with you. So we did a show called Conversations with OG. We did like 6 episodes. Me, Steve the Dean, Rosebud, Bitter Dose from American Pimp. And then I started getting momentum and shit. And then I started doing shows, man. And then, you know, eventually I said, you know, let me just do my own thing. And then now here we are, bro. So.
What investments do you have going on? And what would you suggest people do for passive income streams?
You know, I don't necessarily have any investments right now, but in the past, you know, I'm in the mortgage game. Okay. I had several rental properties. I've had some investment properties. You know, I used to dabble in stocks and things like that. I got a little bit of crypto, but I'm not I'm a very novice. But what I would say, I would never give anybody financial advice. But what I will say, if you want to get into some type of investments, the first thing you need to do is focus on your credit. Get your credit up there. Your credit's bad, that's a problem. Even if you have bad credit, and one way to rebuild your credit is to get a secured debit card, secured credit card, pay that off, build on top of that, and then get your credit, right? And then once you do that and you guys figure out a lane that you want to get into, maybe perhaps start your own business, then get a business line of credit. So because credit, see, the most important thing for people who want to invest in shit like that, use other people's money. And the way that you do that is by building your credit, having credit, access to credit. You can make different types of investments. And then once you get into that bracket where you got credit and shit, you got your own business, then you start networking with people. And then those people typically have investments and financial things that you can kind of get into. But right now, you see all these crypto courses and all this shit. I don't really know too much about it. And I'm so immersed in my content, I don't really have time to do diligence. But once I get to a position where I'm on cruise control, I'll start to dabble. You know, I'm stacking my money right now. You know, but at the end of the day, man, credit's the most important thing before you can even consider trying to invest in yourself or get into investments.
Yo, man, this was a dope podcast, AV. I appreciate you so much, man, for real.
Wow.
Man. Where can they find you at, AV?
Man, I appreciate you, Zeus, for having me on, man. Make sure y'all like the video. I go by the name of AV, aka Alpha Villains. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram at Alpha Villains. I got a YouTube channel as well. Check me out, Alpha Villains. I got a morning show, Finish Your Breakfast with AV, 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Each and every morning. Tomorrow's topic is going to be women are the best teachers.
Check them out, you guys. We got another show going on later on tonight at 9, I believe. Just tune in and like, subscribe, like the video, comment. Appreciate you guys.
Peace.